BBC Radio Leicester.
BBC Radio Leicester. You may remember earlier this year, Anne Diamond made the news after she was fitted with a gastric band before appearing on the television Celebrity Fit Club. Well, it highlighted the desperate measures that people take when battling to get obesity under control. And after successfully winning the battle, Anne is embarking on a tour of the UK to talk for the first time on how weight loss surgery has helped her regain her life and her health. Hi, Anne.
Hello.
Nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
These are serious measures to take, aren't they?
There is a serious message to give out. That's why I'm going on this tour, really, because I am 4 stones lighter now, 5 dress sizes 5 dress sizes slimmer, and a lot of people think it's because of the surgery that I had in Belgium, which got all the publicity, and it isn't. And I have to be upfront about this and tell the truth, because I don't want people thinking that. In fact, the gastric band that I had fitted in Belgium was put in the wrong place, which is why it wasn't working. See, I'd given up on the whole idea of it by the time Celebrity Fit Club came along and asked me to take part. I was convinced by then, because I'd been to Belgium, I'd had the band, and it wasn't working, that I was the only person on this earth for whom weight loss surgery did not work.
Now, you spent most of your life slim. When did it all literally go pear-shaped?
Well, I think it must have been after having 5 children, basically, and doing an awful lot more radio, frankly, than television. I think my lifestyle changed, as it does. And that's why I set up the website www.fathappens.com, because I think that fat happens to a lot of people. And it's not because they're slothful and greedy and stupid and lazy. In actual fact, I think you'll find the vast majority of obese people are probably highly intelligent, very motivated people who can control an awful lot of what happens to them in their life, but for some reason cannot control their weight. And a lot of them, like me, have been there and done it and tried everything. And diets, yes, I mean, I've done them all, and some of them work, but only for a while.
That's interesting, because I remember speaking on my programme to one of the country's top surgeons who was responsible for stomach stapling, which is another measure that a desperate measure that people go to when they
now, you see,
are obese.
I want to pick up on you saying desperate measure. I think maybe the word drastic, and maybe the word, it needs a huge decision.
It's a last resort, I think.
Very much a last resort, yes. But desperate seems to imply that you're slightly off your head, and
no,
you're really
in the sense
not.
That you've tried everything and nothing works.
Dead right, absolutely.
And I asked the surgeon, why is it that people get to this size that it becomes a desperate measure and they have to have such intrusive surgery, and he said a lot of it is overeating, a lot of it is overindulgence, and they were his words.
Yeah, well, he's a nice man. I'd love to meet him and stick a custard pie right up his snout. No, honestly, I think he's wrong, but I have to tell you, there are a lot of doctors who do still have this very patronising attitude, and some of them could do with a gastric band, I can tell you. You see, I know a lot of thin people who eat very, very badly and are very lazy too. The fact is that there are some people to whom it's like a lot of things. You could take 10 people and feed them the same food and they'd all react in a different way. We've got different makeup, different genetic makeup, different environments that we work and live in. And for some people, and they're not slothful and greedy. I really resent the idea that I was ever slothful. I mean, I am one of the busiest people you could meet, but I think our lifestyles today are not conducive to some people to keeping them fit and healthy, unless they are almost obsessive about it.
Do you think in a lot of cases, though, it's ignorance about what you eat?
No, I don't think in a lot of cases. I think in an awful lot of cases you'll find that most people have pretty genned up on it now. I know there are the people that Jamie Oliver has come up against, who still prefer their pot noodles to anything else on earth, but I do think an awful lot of people, and there are a lot of mums and dads out there who would do anything to be able to bring up the next generation of kids more healthy, and would like to be able to do it to themselves. It's just very difficult, and it's made more difficult if the media and the rest of society is throwing brickbats at you. We have to become more compassionate and more constructive, and I think that's what my message is about as well, is if you've got to the point where you really think that maybe surgery is the only option for you now, then you do need to arm yourself with the facts, and that's why I'm doing this.
Gastric band, less intrusive than the stomach stapling. Yeah?
Stomach stapling is pretty old-fashioned nowadays. Yes.
And
the choices tend to be a gastric band or a gastric bypass now, and you need to talk it over with the experts and try and figure out what might be suitable for you and whether you are the right sort of candidate, because it's not an easy option. You have to learn how to cope with it. You have to learn a new way of eating, a new way of thinking. It takes a lot of getting used to and a lot of working with.
Did it not worry you that they put it in the wrong place after the operation?
God, I was gobsmacked. I mean, I couldn't believe it. When you see, what happened was that the enormous furore about the publicity when I was on Celebrity Fit Club at least had one good outcome. I had a phone call from a lady called Donna Ross, who herself has had a gastric band, lost 7 stone, and she now runs a company called the Hospital Group, and they do these operations for people in Britain. And she rang me and said, look, we've been talking about your case, and we can't understand why it's not working for you. Would you like to come along and meet some of our experts and we'll try and find out why? And in the end, I had an X-ray, and it showed it had been put in the wrong place.
Is it there forever once it's there, or do you have it removed
It's
eventually?
designed to stay forever, but it is removable. And a lot of people are rather attracted by that idea. I was. The idea that, if you ever really wanted to, for some who knows what reason, you could have it removed. But now it's in me, and it's working, and it's brilliant, and it's like a little friend. I don't know, it would be a bit like throwing somebody in the ocean and saying, swim on your own, without having a life ring.
How has it changed your life?
Oh, actually, phenomenally. I mean, I am now slim and fit and healthy. Healthy being the most important thing. I was on the brink. I was morbidly obese, which means I was on the brink of all of those nasty comorbidities, they call them, all the things that you could suffer from because of it, like diabetes, increased risk of stroke and cancer and heart disease. And that's the point, you see. I'd spent my 40s yo-yo dieting. Was I to spend my 50s yo-yo dieting and still losing the battle? No. I want to be around for my kids growing up and getting married and having kids of their own. I want to be healthy. So I made a proactive decision. In the end, it turned out well.
So we must say it's not a quick fix for people who have no self-control.
And it's not a first stop either. And it's not about lack of self-control. Again, saying those very words implies some sort of a moral judgment. All of us have self-control, but it's very difficult to have self-control every day of the week, every week of the year, so that you lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do that there are a lot of people, you've only got to use your eyes and look around the supermarkets and look at the people that are pushing the trolleys that are grossly overweight and have trolleys full of crisps and cakes and sweets and all the things really that they shouldn't be putting down their throats.
But I think now, because I've been there, I wouldn't make a moral judgment about them. Inside they may be crying out for real proactive help.
Mm.
And I do think they're suffering. And I think a lot of people just need real constructive support and help and love even, not condemnation.
Well, you're living proof that it works, because I've seen the pictures and you're looking very well on it. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Anne.
Thank you.
Take care.